Damn, I didn't even notice I started. Bless, bless, bless. It's the Myri Jane Podcast with your host, Sean Myri. What you saying, people? This is Herb is the Medicine episode. Herb is the medicine. What what herbs are is all types of herbs. What's good for your health, and the herb what I'm talking about is ganja, right? So, what is ganja good for? A lot of people, it's controversy because you know, this is I'm not a doctor, but this is what's reported and's been studied and released and published, documented that cannabis is good for chronic pain. Cannabis is good for nausea. People who are like nausea, or people with sleeping conditions, people with eating conditions, even skin conditions, right? So herb is a medicine, and you know what type of herb I'm talking about. Long time ago, well, for us up in Canada, weed was illegal, right? It was illegal. So when it was illegal, people would talk about how the benefits of it is, like how good it is. That's why it became legalized in Canada, because people was doing research before it was legalized in Canada, and the research found that it was more beneficial, the cannabis, than not beneficial. So that's why it became legal in Canada because of the research, right? Cannabis is good for many different things, especially chronic pain. If you have a back injury, if you have arthritis, if you have a lot of muscle pain, that's why a lot of people like the indica. The indica, which is very strong, makes people just relax a lot. Some people sleep after. The indica is good if you have a lot of muscle pain, back spasms. When people have back spasms because of past injuries, that's what the indica is. That's why the indica is popular in cannabis. Like the sativa part is a little bit different, right? So the benefits of cannabis is like medicine. It's the natural medicine. It was the first medicine. Bless up everybody in the chat. How do you guys feel about cannabis being a medicine for you? Because I know certain places in America it's illegal, and some places it's legal. CBD is medical, so that's all through America. But in Canada, it's commercialized. It's been legalized for over like 9 years. 9 years. So it is like a medicine for some people who got pain, right? Say, I am gonna sub. Much respect, man. Much respect. I'm trying to make this channel live more because I have a other channel, but this one, the Myri Jane podcast, I'm trying to wake it up a little bit more. I've been away for a while, so please subscribe, people. If you're in the chat, please subscribe. It'll help the algorithm. I'm talking about herb is a medicine, right? Especially in like Jamaican culture and Rasta culture, herb is a medicine. Even though it's been illegal in Jamaica for a long time, a lot of people have the stereotype that Jamaica, because of the media, that it was like legalized. But no, it's very strict. People been getting locked up for years for just traveling, walking with a spliff, right? That's a joint in Jamaica. But like for example now, Canada now, it's fully federally legal, federally legal. You could go to a store like you go to a grocery store or a bear store, what you call dispensaries, and purchase a lot of weed and don't have to worry about anything. Smoke a spliff walking on the street. Don't have to worry about anything. It's like a cigarette, if you want to say, right? So weed, right, is the medicine for a lot of pain, sleeping conditions, multiple sclerosis, they say, right? It's good for a lot of pain, chronic pain. So that's why it became legalized in Canada and certain parts in America. But in America, they're still fighting to fully make it more, you know, um, lenient on weed because certain places is still illegal in America. But like I said, weed is the medicine for people who have eaten problems eating. It could make your appetite, give you a bigger appetite, right? So that's what it's good for if you have problems eating. I said the muscle is one thing for sure. Epilepsy. I heard if you have epilepsy or something, the herb is good for that. Epilepsy, just look it up. People just they can't even stay up. They'll be falling asleep and stuff like that. So it's good for that. It's probably good for a variety of chronic pains, right? It's good to even rub you down, like like if you have a muscle problem too, they could put it in different forms, the cannabis, right, with the cannabinoids. That's what it is. With the CBD, it's the CBD and the THC. The THC gets you what they are saying, up, right? The CBD is the medical side more. So, for example, now in America, a lot of states it's CBD. They can't have a high THC, level legally to sell. It's only CBD mostly because it's only medical. It's not recreational. But in Canada, it's everything, like right now, and other places in the world, but Canada's running it fully legal. So it is a good medicine for your muscles. It's a good medicine for your brain. It's a good medicine for your digestive system. Um, a lot of things. But the medical industry been hating the herbal industry because it's not just the weed, right? There's other plants that could help you what you go to the doctor for. Certain teas. If you drink green tea, it could help you. That's a herb, right? There's other types of teas. That's why the Chinese they're big in tea for eons. They drink a lot of different herbal teas, herbs, right? Which is what people call later on transform into medicine, right? So now cannabis itself is proven all the stuff where people was villainizing the plant for generations. It has proven the benefits to people. It's proven the benefits to people. I'm all right, man. Bless up. I'm all right. Talking about herb is a medicine. I don't know if you smoke herb or you eat it. There's edibles too. Some people don't smoke it. There's edibles. They eat it or they use it for other things. So it is beneficial. The weed is beneficial for a big population. That's why in Canada it's legalized. A great example why how a system could control it, right? There's dispensaries. There's still the black market. People still are purchasing from the black market, but there's a whole bunch of dispensaries every place. And a lot of people go to those dispensaries. That's their medicine. A lot of people are scared to go to illegal dispensaries before that wanted cannabis for their health issues. They didn't want to take the medication from the corporate medicine, so they were going to the black market, right? Uh, they demonized because it was used by minorities. Yeah, yeah. Jazz times, rock and roll. You're right. They demonize the cannabis because it's used by minorities. But when they talk about, like, for example, native cultures or indigenous cultures or wherever in the world, like Africa, they always show, and it doesn't have to be the cannabis, but they always show some type of herb, what they're using from the earth for their body to be better, right? To help them heal. So it's no different with the cannabis. It's no different with the weed. The weed is something what's ancient. People been using it, they drink it, they use it to rub their bodies down. You get what I mean? For probably pain with oil, like it's transformed into oil, right? Some people blaze the flower, the list goes on, right? So herb is a medicine. It's been the original medicine, the original medicine from the beginning, from a long time. There's other ones too. There's other herbs. What's good for you? Other food. What's good for you? Certain vegetables. It's very good for you to be taken in your body, right? Greens is very good to take in your body, right? The herb is no different. The weed is no different to take in, right? Is that? I'm from Central Asia, and my ancestors were using it recreational. Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. In India, cannabis been around from thousands of years, being in use, recorded history, like in India, Asia, but then a lot of places demonized it and made it illegal. A lot of places are surrounding those areas demonized it and made it illegal. But yeah, India, for example, they were famous, very famous in the use of cannabis in all types of ways until there's like hashish. Where does the name hashish come from? I guarantee that's India. Kush, that's a mixture of India, probably Africa. So yeah, herb is the medicine, man. They've been using this in all types of rituals. They use it in all types of uh, uh, cultural things, right? So the herb helps people. They'll use it for a lot of variety of health benefits. They still use it today, right? They still use it today. In case of my country, they made it illegal so they can profit from the black markets. Yes, yes, you're right. A lot of places made it illegal so they could make money from the black market. But right now, for example, in Canada, the black market is still making money, but it's not the same. The black market has to try to get into the corporate market because it's the government basically got eliminated that monopoly. They eliminated it. There's if you have a dispensary in every section, you in the black market, you have to compete now because as it becomes cheaper now, believe it got cheaper because there's so much there's more competition. Then they killed the black market with the weed. It makes no sense really in the black market. You got to be commercialized now in Canada, for example. You got to be on that tip. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. What you're saying, this episode is called Herb is a Medicine, right? Herb is a medicine. What you're saying? Take this off. Mm. I lived and studied in Oregon, California for a while. Weed is so good there. Yeah, that's where they say the Cali Kush is coming from. That's what they're saying the Cali Kush comes from, Batsman 27. That's where they popularized the Cali Kush. I seen a documentary of that place what you're talking about, Oregon, California. It's basically like a community. What the to me, I'm going to go in my conspiracy bag. The government allowed to develop the cannabis right in that region for America. There's other places, but that's why Cali weed is so regarded as the best because that same region you're talking part of America. That's where the OG Kush comes from. OG Kush, right? OG Kush, Cali. That's where that comes from, that saying, and other things too. You're right. Yes, herb is a medicine. You could drink it, you could boil it, you could use it for ailments. It could be oil, it could be lotion. They can make it into a lotion. It could be edibles, and when some people eat it, it might help them more than smoking it. All types of stuff. This is just the information what everybody knows. Where they put it out there, but it's not really promoted as big as weed is right now, or herb is. It's not really promoted still as much, right? There's limited even platforms. There is platforms out there what talk about it, but it's still limited because they were shadow banning the weed industry on social media forever. I don't know if it has changed more now, but they've been shadow banning anybody who talks about cannabis for a long time. I had to quit though; it's too expensive and legally risky in my region. Oh, yeah, it's not. I see what you're saying. It doesn't make no sense to take a risk. You have to be casual with it. Right now, it's a different. Every place is different. For example, in Canada, if if you like herbs, it's like heaven, because everybody you could grow your own plants. You could grow up to 4 plants. Some people might have license that could grow more for themselves, homegrown. That's becoming a culture up in Canada now. As years pass, there's the big growers, but you're gonna see like a domestic local grower, like how people grow tomatoes or people have their garden. That's gonna be more popularized. That's gonna be the come up because people could grow about four plants. So if you're lucky, or six, 4 to 6, right? If you could grow good plants, damn, you have your own stock for a while. And that's in Canada, right? So it's legalized all up in Canada. Herb is the medicine because that's why a lot of people like the dispensaries and it being legalized because you're not going to get bothered by the authorities up in Canada. Because if you have like a pain right now, like you used to get it on the black market, you don't have to worry about that anymore. See, especially the older people, they could go to a dispensary, they get some information about the flower, and if they want it, they buy it, and that's what's going on. Because there's stoners from back in the days who stopped for a while because maybe they had family or they're scared that they're not as brave to go to the black market for marijuana. So a lot of them just stopped. But as soon as it became legal, a lot of new stoners, old stoners came back and started to purchase from that market now. So they're getting the black market people, and they're getting the people who stopped for a while because it was illegal. Think of it. If it's illegal, some people don't want to take the risk getting locked up or getting charged. So, for example, in Canada, when they legalized it fully, people you never thought you would see who smoke weed, which is all different type of people who smoke weed. But you see the community. You start to see how versatile the community is, and a lot of people are going there for pain. Like, I mean, they want certain strands, or they like the indica for their pain, muscle pain, a big population, because a lot of people are doing physical work, right? So if you have muscle pain, back pain, arm pain, neck pain, a lot of people are going there to purchase for that instead of going to the doctor. In my region, you buy a picture of a dead drop, the whole is not guaranteed you'll find it. I don't know what you mean, brother, but like I'm saying, herb is the medicine. It is beneficial to a lot of people. For a lot of years, people could not be confident to try to purchase weed because they're scared of the black market. And it was good, and they wanted it because they had a condition like back pain, arm pain, or they have like eating condition. So maybe when they started to make like the pills and shit, right? They started to manufacture it. That's what, because they're doing that a long time in Canada, right? The CBD pills and stuff like that. People was getting that. But now that it's fully open the market, a lot of people don't need to hide anymore. They don't need to hide because it's commercialized, right? It's commercialized. This is the Myri Jane podcast, people, live and direct, talking about herb is the medicine, right? Herb is the medicine. What you saying? It was good talking. Bless up. Light up a doobie. Yeah, man. I'm gonna light one up, man. Much respect for joining the chat, man. Bats, man. Yeah, man. Starting to get the algorithm up on this channel, man. I have a other channel, but this one I'm trying to get it live right now, man. More live, bringing you different episodes. I'm gonna be having some edited episodes also coming soon about some strands, doing some reviews. So I'm gonna be giving some edited reviews, some news, whatever, if you're into the cannabis culture, right? Definitely on the Myri Jane podcast. So check it out. We got the podcast in the link. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts. We got the Patreon. Everything is there. I've been developing the channel over the years, but I've been away for a good while. But it's time to get back to the Myri Jane podcast. So remember, herb is good for the health. Herb is good for your health, right? Right now, a lot of people, especially in Canada, they probably haven't been going to the doctor as much because they get to go to the dispensary and pick up some good herbs, some indica or whatever that you like. That's what's going on right now. Bless up. It's the Myrie Jane Podcast with your host, Sean Myrie, and I'm out.